First, I'd like to welcome aboard our newest member of the Humberflube family, Jim McFlinigan.
Mr. Humberflube, I wanted to thank you.
Fired.
I beg your pardon?
Fired.
But I...
Hello, my fellow speakers. This is Brian, the Speaker for the Dead, coming to you today with a video on something I've had thoughts on for a while, but I just haven't done anything on it. Mainly because I didn't want to get demonetized, which I'm not monetized anyway, but I didn't want my video to be like shunted into the never, never land of YouTube. Never to be seen because of the content. So I'm going to talk today about the virus that shall not be named. You know, like Voldemort, you can't say his name. Well, apparently on most social media platforms, the virus that is causing so many problems right now also can't be named. Otherwise, they kind of shunt you into Never Never Land. So from this point forward in the video, I shall refer to it as the Chinese beer virus. Yes. So here's my thoughts on this. I know that this is a bad thing. I know that the virus is a terrible thing. It's causing havoc in a lot of people's lives, and that people are struggling, and I get it. What I don't get is our government's response. And when I say our government, I mean local government. Some federal stuff, but local government, where we've got states that are closing their borders, states that are telling their cops to pull people over if they're out, where we've got cops and sheriffs that are arresting people or fining people for playing in a park with their kids. There was a news story yesterday that there was this family of 3 that were in a park. The park said it was closed, but it said with the exception of 4 or less people. Well, a father, a wife, and a daughter were all out in this park, and they were playing frisbee or catch or something. Well, 4 police officers approached them and arrested the father because he had broke the social distancing rules. I don't know how that's possible, because the cops, by their very presence showing up, then broke the social distancing rule. This family had done nothing wrong. And this father was arrested and taken away because he wouldn't show identification. Well, the last time I checked, this was still America. And we have a freedom and a right to assembly. Okay? Martial law has not been declared. These states can make all the little rules they want, but that still doesn't supersede the Constitution of the United States. That says we have a right to assembly, we have a right to freedom of speech, we have a right to, well, we have rights. We have the Bill of Rights. Go read it. If you don't understand what I'm talking about, you're part of the problem. Go figure it out. I'm not going to sit here and line by line tell you what the rights that are established in the Constitution are. How far are we willing to let them go under the guise of protecting us? Because here's my big problem. I understand what they're trying to do, and I appreciate what they're trying to do. But like almost everything government does, they've gone too far. And it's a problem. And we need to, as a citizenry, stand up and go, excuse me, you work for us. Okay, we did not elect you to lord over us, to establish edicts and executive orders. We did not ask you to come into our lives and tell us what we can and can't do every minute of every hour of every day. And I don't care whether there's a disease or a social issue or whatever it is. You don't have the right as the government of the United States to take away my rights just on a whim. Okay, if I so choose to be irresponsible, then I should pay the consequences. Now, I understand, and I am absolutely for reasonable restrictions right now. I'm for social distancing, trying to kind of, the basic things. Wash your hands, cover your mouth, just be careful. If we were just all using some common sense, they'd be fine. And then if the police wanted to go after the people who were not, involved in some common sense or using common sense, then I understand it. But they're going after people that aren't really a problem. And they're making them look like a problem. Well, they disobeyed our orders. Well, I hate to tell you this, but you're not God. God gave us our rights, and only God can take them away. And till then, no. Take your badges and your guns and your authority and go stick it where the sun don't shine, because you're targeting the wrong people. Leave these families of three alone. People should be able to go out and exercise, okay? As long as they're not running through other people's living rooms going, "Hi, everybody." Leave them alone. Leave them alone. It is scary to me how easily we have sacrificed our rights in the name of security or health or whatever excuse. Like I said, reasonable restrictions, I get. Arresting people for going to a park and there only being 3 of them and they're all in the same family?
I believe you too. You see the quotations I'm making with my claw hands? It means I don't believe you.
That's not reasonable. That's not common sense. And these cops manhandled this guy, put him in cuffs. I mean, talk about violating social distancing. You've taken a situation that wasn't a problem by bringing 4 cops in and then touching this man, breathing the same air, manhandling him, close quarters contact. You have become the problem.
I'm not afraid.
You will be. You will be.
And this is just one instance. I'm just using that as an example. I absolutely agree with the common sense restrictions. But this idea that the states can close their borders, we have the right to interstate travel. Those are rights established in the Constitution. Now, if states want to be more careful and stuff like that, I understand. But I'm an over-the-road truck driver. So here's a question. If you close your borders, who's going to bring you the food you need? Because I hear Ohio's closed their borders. Do you grow everything you need in the state of Ohio? Because if you don't, you still need trucks to bring you stuff. You still need to ship your goods out of your state. This idea that you can just shut down your economies for months and months and months and there'll be no repercussions after this, it's stupid. This is the cure being worse than the disease. And we need to not let this happen.
Sorry I'm late. I was rounding up all the gluten in the world and launching into space where it can't not hurt us ever again.
Okay, I'm not talking about going out in social anarchy and just rioting in the streets. But I'll tell you this, I know Americans well enough to know this. If you keep this going and you keep doing what you're doing, that's exactly what you're going to have. I mean, Americans rioted over tea taxes. That's what started this country. You think they're going to put up with you telling them where they can go, what they can do, how they can do it for months and months and months on end? Sorry, Did I miss the sign where it said, "Welcome to the USSR"? Papers, please. Papers, please. We must know where you're going.
We would be honored if you would join us.
Now, I know that's a German accent. I can't do the Russian accent. So, we'll just stick with the good old, Third Reich regime. So, but this is stupid. This is stupid, and it's going to get worse if we don't stand up to these officials that we elected. You are not our rulers. You are not lords and masters of the areas that we have put you in charge of. That power that you think you can wield so well against us, that's the power we gave you. And there's more of us than there are of you. So think it through. Now, when people tell you that we don't need the Second Amendment and that we don't need guns and stuff like that, this is the exact thing that was intended for. Because I could see the losers and nincompoops in Washington who think they're all smarter than we are, using this as an excuse to put the American people under their thumb permanently. I mean, we've got cell phone companies that are tracking people in cities for the government to tell them where everybody's at, where they're going, what are their movements, why they're there, blah, blah, blah. They're using our own devices and our own stuff against us. They're using traffic cameras to detect who's moving and where they're moving. And I mean, this is Soviet Union stuff. The problem is the technology we have now makes the Soviet vision way more possible, because they didn't have the technology to track everybody in real time back in the good old 80s and 70s and 60s and before. We have that now. And I don't want them to use this corona thing to set in motion a chain of events that will enslave the American people to their government.
What was that?
Oh, it was nothing, sir!
Your behavior is most suspicious!
There's a line in the movie V for Vendetta that I love. Governments should be afraid of their people. The people should not be afraid of their governments. And I think they actually reversed that. But that's what I'm talking about. Freedom is the most important thing we have. And to give it away for an ounce of security is really stupid. And I don't care whether you're a Democrat or Republican or whether you think who's doing a good job or whatever and stuff. I think President Trump has done a great job with what he's had to deal with. And I think they're making the best of this that they can. It's some of the other officials that are running crazy, like the mayor of New York and apparently the governor of Ohio and stuff like that, just trying to slam, the door shut on everything and make everybody stay exactly where they are and harbor in place. And I mean, I'm sorry, but no. No. Reasonable restrictions, yes. Crazy restrictions, no. Anyway, I hope that you've enjoyed this. I'm going to be trying to give you more of my thoughts and stuff like that. It's scary what I see happening. And I just wanted to speak out about the Chinese beer virus, because we can't give up our freedom and everything that we have gained by being Americans for a little bit of security. It's not worth it. The projections that they use to justify everything they're doing have come way down. That not nearly as many people are getting sick or dying as what they said was going to happen. So now I'm sure they're going to tout that, that's because we're doing such a good job with our social distancing, and we're arresting people who dare to get out of line and blah, blah. No, you're harassing members of the population who don't deserve it. Leave them alone. Leave the little families alone. Okay? We still have to make this country work. I'm still working. I'm still going to work every day. I work in essential industry because the company that I work for makes health products and hand sanitizers and all that kind of stuff. So I'm still doing my part to get that kind of stuff out to people in the country who need it. But we're all essential. Everybody is essential. We all make this country work. We all have something to contribute. And to tell people that they have to harbor in place and that they can't go get a job and that they've lost their jobs forever and you've destroyed their businesses and people have lost everything that they've worked a lifetime for. Really? Really? And half of the people in Washington are only doing this to score political points against their opponents? And I think it's happening on both sides. Really? Elections are that important that you're going to destroy millions of people's lives? By the way, these are voters' lives you're destroying, just so you know. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. Didn't mean to be a downer. I wanted to talk about something really real. I spend most of my time talking about pop culture and stuff, which is real and important. But this is something that's vitally important. Freedom, the Constitution, our rights. Boy, that's where it's really at. So I wanted to cover that today. So everybody, be safe out there. Do common sense things to prevent yourself from getting these diseases. For the love of Pete, wash your freaking hands after you use the bathroom. You know, as a truck driver, I don't know how many times I watch people walk in to a bathroom, pee, and then turn around and walk out without washing their hands. And I just want to run up, grab them, and hose them down in Purell, especially in the eyes. I know it's mean. But seriously, you've just touched your genitals. And then you go grab a door handle. I might as well. So I'm standing there trying to figure out how to get out of the bathroom without touching your genitals. So I have to grab paper towels and do this origami thing with my shirt, trying to get the door open without touching it. You're gross. If you don't wash your hands after you use the bathroom, just... Anyway, I digress. Anyway, thanks for watching. Be safe out there. Take care of yourselves, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye now.